Okay, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for this evening. We are thrilled that this young man has joined us for the weekend. Many of you have seen his work on YouTube. He's a 19-year-old sophomore from the University of Iowa. Spoke in front of the Iowa legislature recently in support of marriage equality. This is primarily due to the fact that he was raised by two women and feels very, very strongly about the equality that we all are fighting for. And I will let him tell you his story. It's my pleasure to introduce Zach Wahls.
Thank you, everyone. It's awesome to be here. I've actually done can you hear me? Yeah. You're good? Okay. I've actually been doing a couple of these events over the last few months, ever since the testimony went viral, but I'm really excited about this one, mostly because it's my first chance to really work with Lambda Legal. And I don't need to talk about Lambda Legal to you guys. You guys all know of its reputation, but it's really because of Lambda Legal that my moms were able to get married in October of 2009. And no, it was awesome. They had their first commitment ceremony back in '96. I was just a little guy then. I'm not nearly as tall as I am now. But their wedding this time around, I was the best man, and I got to do the toast. It was really something special. And I didn't necessarily think it would be, because we'd been together for so long. But then to have the marriage actually happen, and to be there, and to watch them, crying, looking into each other's eyes, say their vows again. It was just so moving for me. And, it really kind of speaks to the necessity of marriage equality, that when they did it in October, it wasn't actually the first time they'd had a marriage. Jackie, my non-biological mom, lost her job over the summer of 2009 and needed to get on Terry, my tall mom's, health insurance. So they had their legal ceremony in early August 2009. So Jackie could get on Terry's health insurance. And then they had the actual ceremony with all the friends and family in October. But that really speaks a lot about the need for the legal protections and requirements, and the need to recognize love of all types in our states and in our country. And then so they were married in October 2009. And then we had the election not necessarily go our way in 2010, and the people in the Iowa House of Representatives, not just Republicans, but there were some Democrats too, decided to take a stand and try and redefine marriage in Iowa as between one man and one woman. And so the bill that marriage amendment was passed out of committee, and then I went to the public hearing about it and I spoke. And actually, if it wasn't for Lambda Legal, I wouldn't have been there that night. It was Lambda Legal that reached out to me and asked me to be there, and help me figure out a little bit what to say. What to wear, even. And, right? No, so then I went there, and I gave the speech, and then next thing I know, I'm getting phone calls from the producers of all these national programs, and, then all of a sudden it's at 1 million views by the Friday, it's 4 days later, and then it's at 1.7 million now. It's been absolutely overwhelming. And, it's really cool that I've been on these shows. I met Ellen DeGeneres. She's awesome. It was a lot of fun. But the coolest part for me was this message I got on Facebook from a Marine who was about to be deployed to Afghanistan. And he said that he'd grown up in the South, in his words, anti-gay. And then he said that after watching my speech, he decided he was in favor of marriage equality. And then he also said he was really nervous about don't ask, don't tell, because he was a Marine. But said I'd calmed his anxiety about that too. And ultimately, I think that's what this fight is about. It's about understanding and conquering that fear. That fear of the other, of something different, of something that is not necessarily fully understood by some people. And I think when we finally gotten to the point that my kids are reading about this struggle in their history books. Which is impressive because I don't have kids yet. Not that I know of, anyway. But when they're reading about it, and we've gotten to the point where we can just kind of look back and chuckle. We'll love that triumphed over fear, and we'll know that this country really truly affirmed the sanctity of marriage and fully recognized the legitimacy of same-sex couples. and we'll know that love of all people, you know, is the law of the land in this country. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I really think it's going to be because of Lambda Legal that we get to that point. And so, you know, I know lately a lot of people have taken to calling me a hero, which is a little weird for me, because, you know, I just talked about my life, and that's it. It's all it is for me, you know. Just my mom's and my sister and me. How you doing? All right. You know, that's all it is for me. It's nothing special. But, you know, Lambda Legal, you know, all the supporters, all of you guys, you know, you're the real unsung heroes in all this. And it's because of the work of people like you that, you know, eventually this is all going to seem like some big misunderstanding in a few decades from now. So thank you. Have a good rest of the evening, and thanks for having me again. It's really an honor.
Thanks so much, Zach. We would just like to honor you with this little memento. Lambda Legal, Making the Case for Equality, honors Zach Wahls for your commitment to full equality. Thank you so much.